Welcome to Coffee with the County Local Voices series. Today I am with the administrator of the Aitkin County Historical Society and Depot Museum, Rich Peterson. How are you, sir?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming in and talking to us about all things Historical Society and Depot and all that great stuff.
I'm not sure I'll talk about all things, but whatever I can.
Well, let's start with you, Rich. Let's talk a little bit about your background. Are you a lifetime Aitkin County resident? How long have you been around, and what have you been up to?
Well, I can say in some ways I've been a lifetime resident of Aitkin County, but I did, however, move away for a period of probably 20 years. So I gained some perspective, I guess, of the world outside of Aitkin. But then I've come back and, having been born here and went to high school here, and I find it's a great asset working at the depot and in our research department, because I've kind of got an insight to a lot of things that somebody who just walked into it, had no knowledge of the county history or the people, I don't feel would have that insight. So I'm thankful for that. My background as a historical society administrator and a depot or a museum curator is virtually nothing. So
and that's okay.
I took on the position just because I thought it would be something fun to do, since I've been involved with the county in a way since I was born. And as a side note, my wife had been administrator of the depot and the historical society 20 years ago. She did it for 5 or 6 years.
There you go. I did not know that.
And because of that, I did have kind of a background working knowledge of how the place works and what has to be done, and so that helped a lot. So I felt comfortable taking the position. It's a learning curve. What I thought would work great when I started turned out not working at all, and then things that never occurred to me, they're working super. So
nice. Trial and error. That's
trial
what you
and
do,
error.
right?
That's
How long
it.
have you been the administrator over there?
This will be my 3rd year now.
Okay.
And I've learned a lot. I've got a fantastic core of volunteers that really come in and help and, make the job quite a bit easier. I think about our recent garage sale that we just closed. We had volunteers come in there and work days getting it all ready, and they did a great job, and it was a success, and so I'm happy for that. And that's the way it works with all our projects.
That's that. Is it an annual garage sale that you guys do right around Riverboat Days time?
Well, that's the nice thing. We do it always on the same weekend. They have Riverboat Days.
Okay.
We've just always done it. I think there's one year they couldn't because of some conflict, but that's when we'll have it. People have come to kind of know that now. That they know that weekend is we're going to be down there selling stuff, and we get a tremendous crowd.
And all the proceeds from garage sales and things like that go towards operations of Historical Society, or?
Yeah, it's part of our operating funds. It's a big part of it. That and our annual Christmas cookie walk that they have every year. Those are 2 of our biggest money makers. They're quite successful, and we're exploring other things that we might try. We've kicked the idea around of setting up an escape room, and we did go to the Tasca County Historical Society. They have one just to see how that worked, and it was a lot of fun. And I think if we can manage to come up with something like that, it'll be quite an asset. And they said that they make quite a bit of money doing that. So that's something we're thinking about.
Yeah, interesting idea for sure.
Trying to think of a few other things that we might be talking about. I can't think of any fundraising things that they've thrown out there. We need to raise some money as much as we can, because the roof on the museum is basically leaking. I took a movie the other day with my camera of the water running into the roof and dribbling on the bench.
That's some serious stuff when you're talking about historical items, and water is not necessarily a good thing.
No, it's not. It definitely is not good. I would guess it's gradually rotting the roof out. The issue with replacing that roof is the depot is on the National Register of Historical Sites. So it isn't a matter, well, we can just tear that roof off and reshingle it. No, you have to replace it with something at least with the same texture and color of what's up there already. If the materials that are up there, and they're these big tiles, they're not made anymore, that style. That company that made those went out of business in 1922 or something.
That makes things way more complicated than it needs to be.
Well, that's the requirements. You have to keep the exterior of the building, similar or matching what it was registered at. So, to replace the roof, we have to probably remove all of the tiles that are there and look around and replace them with similar product. And we've got a good company that's working with us on that. And
that's good.
So far, it's made pretty good progress about getting things going for us. But the cost of something like that, we're guesstimating, is going to be $350,000 or $400,000.
Wow, that's amazing.
Because that type of roof, you can't just take a tile that's maybe cracked and take it out of there and put it in. You have to disassemble the roof from the top down.
Certainly.
To get to it. So it's not an easy thing.
So that's a huge number. How does the Historical Society fund itself? Are you a non-profit organization?
Yes, we are a non-profit, and there's the heritage grants. That's a good source of money for this type of project. The company we've been working with has actually turned part of it in as an insurance claim, with the theory that hail damage could have cracked some of that tile up. And they looked into it, and insurance underwriters, they allowed that the hail probably didn't break a lot of tiles, but it did damage all the copper flashing on the place. They're willing to look at replacing that. Well, then in order to do that, they have to remove tiles, and then when they remove tiles, city codes kick in, and they have to make sure that the roof is so
sounds complicated.
It is, but they're working hard on it.
Yeah, good.
I said I don't know if I'm allowed to mention their name and this and that, so I won't. But
we'll keep them nameless and faceless.
But
they are working hard. To help
and they seem to be a very reputable company, and they've already completed a project that had a similar roof. And they went in and completed the project, and they've got pictures, and we're quite confident that we can get this done. Yeah. And depending on what we come up with for money out of possible insurance claim and what we have, what we possibly can get as grants, and I think we can do it. We've also started what we call a Raise the Roof campaign, which we're trying to just gather like $100,000 over the next year just to see how much we can match. Because the grant system, the more you can bring to the table, the better off you are. So that's where that's at.
So that's a current fundraising effort that's going on right now in the area.
Yeah, we haven't really publicized it a lot yet, but because we've been trying to get through our garage sale and the county fair display and all of that.
Yeah.
But now we're going to start focusing on that. And the other thing about that building is once we get the roof taken care of and stop the water from coming in, the next issue is all the windows and doors. They're still the original windows and doors that were put in there in 1916. So in the winter, you might as well have 3 or 4 of them open to the weather, because that's about as much good as they do. We'd like to replace them with good solid units, and similar to the Ripple Center, what they did with the old Butler building.
Sure.
That's on the historic register. You don't want to replace an old worn out window with another old wooden window.
Yep.
You're allowed to upgrade. The other thing we're really proud of down there, and I find a lot of use, is our research room. We've got county records of births, obituaries, pictures, family histories, business histories, short papers that people have wrote about different things in the county. So it's a very good resource for people that are seeking their family history. want to research an event that might have occurred, or an old building or structure, or a series of events that caused something. Speaking to that, I was just approached by a party. They're inquiring about some disappearance of a person that happened 40 years ago.
So what hours of operation do you have down there if somebody wants to come in and visit and take a look or investigate some things? Or
we're open Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon. During summer months, we always try to get a museum assistant, and then that allows us to keep it open on Saturday also for 4 hours. There are times when other people can't make those times, so I will go down and open it up and let them look at what they want to look at. And that's just part of the thing I think we should do. The county has been very good about funding us, and I hope that continues in the light of all of the financial upheaval we're seeing. So far, they've been a huge help. The STS crew is down there all the time working for us and making the place look nice and hauling things and fixing things. And hats off to Kent and his crew. They're a big asset.
Yeah, that's community helping community there. And
it is.
That's what we're here for. That's what I think everyone who is listening wants to be or should be part of the solutions of things that go on like that, and help you guys out, help any community member out. What's next on the Historical Society's list? What's the next big thing you want to get accomplished?
Well, the roof, of course, that's kind of number one because that's kind of critical. It's interesting about the historical register system. You have to keep the exterior as much of the original appearance as possible. On the interior of a building, you can tear it apart from floor to ceiling and rebuild it. They don't care.
You can do whatever you want inside.
Yeah.
The outside has to look the same.
If we get the outside done, then we can start really looking at what we can do with the inside. Because the beauty of that building is, and people have told me this that have come in there and visited, we've kept the clutter out of the inside. So when someone walks in there, they can see what an old railroad depot was actually like, the size of it and the space and the different rooms and cubby holes and what they were for. And the sad thing is, a lot of these old depots and buildings like that get turned into gift shops and restaurants, and you lose all of that inside.
It's important to keep that.
It is. That
tradition or that history there. And you know more than anybody about history because you are the guy that takes care of the Historical Society here. Eh?
I guess I put it this way. I said, I do know where all the bodies are buried.
I love it. We won't edit that out either. We're keeping that right in this. So Aitkin Historical Society, if somebody wants to help, either volunteer or if somebody's fortunate enough to have some funding that they would like to offer to the Historical Society, how do they get a hold of you, Rich?
They can get a hold of me by contacting me through our email, achs@Aitkin, COHS, stands for Aitkin County Historical Society.org.
Yeah, because it's a nonprofit, so.
And then there's our regular contact number, telephone number, 218-927-3348. If I don't answer the phone, leave a message.
You just don't have time for that stuff. It doesn't sound like you have a huge staff down there either. So
no.
A lot of you doing the work yourself and a lot of you managing the work yourself, Rich, which...
Well, yeah, but I do have, like I said, a lot of good volunteers, and we certainly encourage people to come in and volunteer. We have all kinds of things that people could do, depending on your talents and likes, and we'll find something for you to do. The other thing is, the more volunteer hours we can document, the better off you are when you go apply for a grant.
Certainly, every little bit helps.
That's a big factor.
Yep, every little bit helps.
And no, we don't have a full-time employee other than myself, and I'm not even full-time. But we managed to get by with all the good help we have so far. But as we grow, probably have to look into a few things. The assistant we have now has done a tremendous job of keeping things working. So it's going. I think it's kind of on its way upward again.
That's awesome to hear because it's very valuable. It's hugely needed for our area for it to remain. The depot is a really cool building. If you guys want to get a chance, go check it out. Go see Rich down there and just check out one of the Aitkin County traditions or the history of Aitkin County all in one spot. So good thing that Rich also has welcomed you, but I encourage you to go and visit and see and get involved. And if you want to volunteer, he will gladly sit and talk with you about what you can do. So Rich, thank you for coming in today. We appreciate hearing about the Aitkin County Historical Society and the Depot Museum. Stop by anytime you like. If you have information you want to share with the group, please stop back anytime you like.
I will. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming in. That's Rich Peterson. He is the administrator for Aitkin County Historical Society and the Depot Museum. And you're listening to Coffee with the County, Local Voices.